guys, this is your hostess, Monica Alvaro, aka Miss RealTalk, guys. Yeah, guess what? I'm on WQCN, The Choice. Yeah, The Choice, 105.3. I'm excited. This is my first big interview coming on to The Choice. And before I start, I got to thank my engineer that you might know, the host of the Victory Report, Minister Tigerfoot. And I'm excited because we're going to be doing some great things on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. only on 105.3 The Choice FM. So before we get started, guys, guess what? Let me build up this great interview we got. Yes, Martha Hyde. You know, before she was Martha Hyde, she was Martha Harlan. She was her stage name that James Brown gave her, this legendary Martha Hyde. She is a soulful lady, woman of God, clown, fashionable, and much more. And now she's an author. Yeah, she's an author. He's a funny cat, Miss Hyde. She's in the Richmond, Virginia area to promote her big event coming up on September the 15th at the Union Jazz Bistro. It's at 2400 Northumberland in Richmond, Virginia, and tickets are still available. You meet a great vocalist who talks about her stories, her background being with James Brown for not one, but 32 plus years and more. This woman that named the hottest working woman in town is finally on the Real Talk with Monica radio show. And before we even bring Miss Monica, I got to give a big shout out to Cultural Libation for bringing this big interview premiere on 105.3. And the beautiful Yamaja Jubilee will be coming in on this interview that we have pre-recorded. So, Miss Hyde, welcome to Real Talk.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
So, tell our Real Talk viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, to start off, I like to say that I'm very happy to be in this area because I was born in Victoria, Virginia.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
Victoria native in the house.
Yeah,
Yamaja from that area
right.
too.
Yeah, and I was raised in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And that's so we're in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
So this is still a part of my stomping grounds.
Yeah.
But I was raised in Washington, D.C., and I graduated from Roosevelt High School. And during the time I was going to Roosevelt High, I met some young ladies there, and we just decided to put together a group. I was in say about the 11th grade, and I met Marvin Gaye's sister, Zeola Gay, and Yvonne Smith, and Sharon Anderson. We decided to kind of put a little group together because there were a lot of talent shows and sock hops at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so we wanted to sing and we wanted to see how well we could do and whether we could win talent shows. Unfortunately, we didn't win very many, but we did win one. And from there, I met some young ladies also. They were going to Roosevelt High School as well.
Okay.
I met the four Jewels.
Yeah, and tell us about that because one member had dropped out and then you was put in. So tell us about that story. You know, because was it, you see all these great girl groups back then, the Supremes, and so tell us about the Jewels.
Well, actually, I was a fan of theirs because during the time that we all went to school, they had recorded records like Johnny Jealousy and Dapper Dan, different songs like that. And I met them, I knew them from school, but I also met them when we started having rehearsals at Bo Diddley's house, the singer and guitar player Bo Diddley.
Wow.
And I met them there, and they were working on their maybe like third or fourth record. And I never really got a chance to really talk to them at that time, just seeing them at the rehearsals, and of course we kind of knew each other from school. But one day Bo Diddley told me that the girls were auditioning other singers because one of the girls was leaving. And I just didn't think anything about it. I said, okay, well, cool, that's great. And he said, Martha, I think that you should try out for that. And I was like, no, not me. No, I don't. I think I was kind of shy at that time, you know. I was always in the background. But he insisted, and he also spoke to the jewels, to the 4 jewels at that time.
Yeah.
So when Carrie left, they did do the auditioning, and he talked me into it. I auditioned for them, and they just kind of like asked me to harmonize with them on different songs.
So Martha, let's go back to that. Just that opportunity. Just to look at, you know, sometimes, because we're going to talk later on about the music industry today, but that opportunity that you seized on it. And that's what sometimes I think a lot of young people in the industry don't embrace those opportunities, and you took advantage of it.
Yes.
And look what it got to you today.
That's right, because I felt that it was, I didn't see the group that I was singing with, I didn't see us moving on because I don't think that they were as interested. And then again, maybe they were, you know. But we did enjoy working with each other. But when I felt that it was a chance for me to move on and to have a more of a better chance to get into the music business, because like I said, they were already considered as professional singers, you know, because they had recorded.
And then, how did you tell us viewers, how did you meet James Brown? And then y'all met at the Apollo with the Jewels, right?
Yes, but before the Apollo, we met him at the Howard Theater in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was quite an experience because we recorded a song called Opportunity in 1964 that got a lot of play on the air and became a national hit. And it was also on the charts, on the, I don't know what it's called, the Billboard charts at that time, but it was on the charts.
Well, today it's like the Billboard charts, but back then it was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah, and especially for African Americans.
Exactly, yeah. And there were a lot of female groups at that time. It was like the Marvelettes and
doo-wop groups.
Yeah, doo-wop groups, absolutely. And we were just like, we were really blessed and fortunate to be that circuit, you know, at that time, to be one of the female groups that had a national hit out at that time. And that allowed us to play at the Howard Theater.
Okay.
And during the time that we were playing, we were performing, well, we heard this big ruckus in the audience. Now, we used to do a song of Etta James called Something's Got a Hold on Me.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And boy, when we sang that song, that was our go-getter song. You know, like people would just go crazy. And
I'm glad you said that, because I'd Rather Go Blind too, your version.
Oh,
yes.
well, thank you.
Great.
Thank you. And the people would really go crazy, and that was the song that we would end our set with, you know. Something's Got a Hold on Me, and Sandra Beers was the lead singer, and we had this little act at the end of the song where she would be singing and she'd be and then we were walking off of the stage, you know, saying bye, and she was still up at the mic. We'd turn around and look at her and like, come on, you know. So we decided to go and pull her from the mic, But anyway, that was our song that would get the crowd going.
Yes.
Well, of course, you know, would be a big thing in the audience. But before we got to that song, we were doing something like Dapper Dan, one of the songs of the Jewels. And we heard all this ruckus in the audience. And I was like, oh yeah, we're getting down.
Yeah, you can feel it. It was a good night that night.
Not only Something's Got a Hold on Me, but Dapper Dan is really getting the people, you know.
Yeah.
And then come to find out that it was James Brown in the audience.
Did he actually do that a lot? You know, because I was wondering, how did he find a lot of talented people? Did he go and scope people out?
You know, during that time, it would a lot of entertainers would come through.
Right.
To the theaters, you know, and if
support.
they were in town, if they were in town, they would stop by the theater if there was a show there, and you know, say hello to the artist that was there, it was just a normal thing for someone to show up
Right.
when the show was going on.
And you know what? And I think we're gonna bring Yamaja at this point. Like, tell about the Richmond area. You know, I used to hear about the Hippodrome. You know, Richmond was a vibrant area for the music industry.
Yeah, and I remember when, well, a lot of the people that I saw at the Richmond Coliseum.
The Coliseum, yes.
That was a venue. Which venues did you play when you were in Richmond?
I think there
See,
was
'cause
a
she had a
movie.
venue.
There was a theater called the Paramount, or
Okay.
I think it was called the Paramount, but it was a theater
Okay.
that when I first joined Mr. Brown, that's where we would play.
Yeah.
Yeah, at a theater, and then later on, of course, the Coliseum, and then it was a mosque here.
Yeah, the mosque.
Yeah,
the
the
mosque.
mosque.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the
That's the
Mosque.
place. Yeah.
And it's
Great
called
memory.
Yeah.
I
it's called
started thinking.
Altria Theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Altria.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we played there, but go ahead.
Yeah. That's why I remember going to see a lot of shows was at the mosque
Awesome.
because people like I went to see George Clinton there.
Yeah.
You know, everybody would be there as well. And Earth, Wind and Fire, those
Yes.
groups, they played those venues like that.
You know what? The ladies, y'all can possibly chime in. You know, I always wondered what had happened to the music scene here in Richmond. You know, it was just so much vibrance. You know, because I was hearing everybody going on 2nd Street. You know,
Oh,
Lee,
yeah.
You know, like you said, that's near the Coliseum.
Yeah.
But people went out and support the artists,
Mm.
and they said it wouldn't be like nothing to see, you know, like an artist coming down to pay patronage to the clubs.
Yeah, I remember. I know that when the early years, I
Mhm.
was with Mr. Brown. We did play Richmond quite a bit,
Mhm.
and it was like it was just in this circuit that they would do.
Yeah.
You know, you would play. You would start from the south, coming all the way up to New York, and coming back down.
Chitlin
the
Circuit.
The
Exactly.
yeah, I heard of that.
Exactly. The
Yes.
Chitlin Circuit.
Yes,
that's
Chitlin
right.
Circuit. That was because you could only go to black venues.
Yes.
Mhm.
You were not welcome in some of the white establishments.
That's what I would
Mhm.
love for us to talk
Mhm.
about how did you face racism in those days? You know, was it getting over? Because remember when James Brown got on TV, he calmed the nation down with his voice. Yeah.
Well, during the riots
Yes.
at that time, but you know, like traveling on the road in the '60s and everything. I have to say, during the time that I was with Mr. Brown, it wasn't that noticeable. I
Okay.
don't know why. Maybe because of who.
He had a name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was powerful.
And we played the large coliseums and the large theaters and everything like that. But I really don't remember. Maybe just a couple of times. I remember one place I remember was New Orleans, when we played New Orleans, and the forum that we played in, it had sort of like a round stage in a sense, and it was split in half. It was a curtain that split the stage in half. So one side we played for the blacks, and then the other side was for the Caucasians. But Mr. Brown is the one that changed that.
Changed the game.
He changed it, and he
Yes.
said, if I can't play for everybody at the same time, I'm not performing.
He's staying for something.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking because he's not the type of man, as far as, you know, when doing the research for the show that we did, he's not the type of man that's going to take the okie doke. Because he wanted his music to be out, and he wanted his music to be out to everybody.
Yes.
He was a real showman for everybody.
Right, and he got to that point where, you know, he said, no, I'm not doing this.
You know, I guess he's a true man that really spoke character. I'm black and I'm proud. He
Yes.
wanted to make sure that he didn't forget about his people.
Absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did it happen where, of course, you know, the Jews now, they got on, and then you had to make that sacrifice. Do I stick with them, or do I be with James Brown now?
I tell you, when Mr. Brown approached us, which was the second time at the Apollo, when he came into our dressing room and said, "Hey girls, I want y'all to work with me. I want you on my review." Well, excuse me.
That's him putting that coffee in you there from heaven. Say, all right, Mom.
No. I guess you say stop teasing me, acting like me. But anyway, when he asked us to join his show, I thought it was the biggest thing. Excuse me. I thought it was the biggest thing that ever happened.
But with a name like that, and with that kind of recognition, and in that period of time, he was it. He was Mr. It. He was the showman. He was everything. And to have him put together, especially with his review and the dancing and the girls and everything that was going on, so I can see how you all would be so excited because this man was known worldwide.
That's right. He was at his peak. This was we're talking about 65, 66. Yeah. And when he came in and asked us that, I was like, I can't believe this is happening. This is the biggest managed business.
Well, did it give you nerves too? Yeah, I can imagine just sweating and just to have the biggest performer ever to come in and
this was a person that I used to go to the Howard Theater to see.
And how old were you? How old were you then?
Well, I joined him. I was 18 years
See,
old.
18 years old and got
I was
discovered.
18, and I used to, go to the Howard Theater when I was 16, 17 years old, and watch this man. His feet was like lightning. It was just amazing, and the way that he dressed and everything,
Professionalism. He was a perfectionist one. If he didn't get it right, he would.
Yes, when we joined him, he just changed our total outfits. He bought us gowns and fabulous dresses and everything. Just changed the way that we dressed. And I thought it was just a beautiful thing. And we stayed with him for about a year and a half. And then the ladies decided they wanted to come home, but I was like, oh no. Oh no. No.
You was loving that life.
Now. Not now. We just got here, and
so you was about 20.
Yeah, I had made the decision that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to be a singer. I want to perform and just do this, and let's not go home now.
Yeah, I tell you.
But
just getting started, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so tell us, when you got started and started working with him, what was the expectations that James wanted to have you, as a background singer to be working with him so long? Did he have rules, or what was his?
Even before I became a background singer for Mr. Brown, he had rules.
Yeah.
He rules of respecting one another. The men had to call us Miss.
Wow.
We had to call the guys Mr. We addressed Mr. Brown as you hear me.
I saw that. When I saw that was like Mr. James Brown.
Yeah. And he did not want us to venture out. When I say adventure out, like going to clubs and doing different things like that, because he believed in us getting our rest, and then plus he wanted to make sure that we were ready for the show. But we really didn't have time to do any of that most of the time because we were traveling.
Right. Tell us how grueling was that at 20 years old? Did you feel like you're going on traveling and road to road, you're missing your family?
Well, that's something that I had decided that I wanted to do. I wanted to see the world and everything, and this was happening because we were on the road sometimes a month, 2 months at a time, traveling from different places, just one place after the other. And it was still exciting to me. I still was excited for years, for years. I was still one of his biggest fans.
And so, Martha, tell us also about the pay. Now, sometimes a love of our craft, we might not always get rewarded with the money. Sometimes here you got these fabulous clothes. Was it sometimes people just wanted to be around James just to experience without even the money? Just to,
of course, yeah. There were many people. I would call it his entourage, because there were many people that just wanted to be situated with James Brown. They wanted to be able to say, oh, I know Mr. Dynamite. I know the Godfather of Soul, you know. So yeah, a lot of people would take a small amount of money just to be around him and to work for him. But it was the biggest thing that ever happened to us, I felt, because we were working before we met Mr. Brown, before we got with him. But the money at that time was just like pennies, you know, pennies, and working small clubs and things like that. The biggest thing that we were doing before we met Mr. Brown was doing the theater circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And that was working at the Howard Theater, then from the Howard Theater to Baltimore to the Royal Theater, from the Royal Theater to Philadelphia, Uptown Theater, then the Apollo Theater, and the Regal Theater.
And see, I said all about the money because sometimes, like these young ones in the industry, they want these big contracts or these fabulous things, and it seems like you have to put the work in first, and then God would grant you with these luxury things.
Yeah, and I think sometimes too, that's like the same as you were there at the right time, or something where it happened for singers and musicians, where they were there at the right time and they were offered a big contract or something. But I don't think that happens now.
Yeah.
Only through TV
Yes.
or something like that. It's not as easy, and I don't know whether I should say it was easy then, but it was a little different. I think that you really had to sing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
you
we
really
talked
had to
about.
sing. You really had to perform.
Yes.
Then, you know, to get out there and really make some money and.
Like a Bruno Mars does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought up Bruno Mars.
Yes.
I was on Saturday when I was in New York for New York Fashion Week. We was down in Harlem,
Mm-hmm.
and we had just missed Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Had did a big concert outside the Apollo Theater,
Yeah.
and we was wondering why they was setting up the cameras out on the balcony area.
Yeah.
And they said the streets was shut down. And when you mentioned Bruno Mars, that's what I relate to, like a James, when he just come professional.
Exactly. And
Just
this
that,
this
yes.
young man has, you know, he's been performing since he was a young
Yes,
boy.
yeah,
you know?
definitely.
But then he has the voice, he has the talent, and he knows how to entertain.
Yeah,
he's
like
entertained.
Yeah, I'm not saying that a lot of people don't know how to
Yeah.
entertain, but then there's a lot of other things that's happening with other singers and everything, where they have their voices playing in the back. You know, it's not really just all live. It's not real. It's not real.
He put on a show.
Yeah, he does. He puts on. And one of the things about that I know about in researching Mr. Brown was that he used to dance for a quarter when he was living. You know, when he was living with I forget where it was.
His aunt.
Yeah, he performed. He used to do the buck dance because he started performing early doing entertainment,
Yeah.
and it got to be a way of life when he was young,
Yes.
very very young, and then it just went on up the ladder. But he was just used to doing that.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And you made some good points. So let's talk about your time on TV. You had did a movie with the Blues Brothers, and then you was
Yeah.
on New York Undercover. How was
Yeah,
that?
that
Having
was-
a little TV time.
That was crazy too. I mean, you know, like I said, I'm a big fan of him, and just to be a part, you know, it was just such a blessing, you know, to be able to be in there. And Mr. Brown was the kind of person that when he did things like that, he wanted his band and his singers. You know, he insisted. A lot of times they said, no, you can't bring them, and they can't be a part of it. And he's like,
But they're living in America.
somebody else.
They're living in America. You know when he wears all this red, white, and blue.
Oh yeah.
So were you in?
No.
You okay?
I wasn't in that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
but after it was over, he said, Miss, you should have been here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
Duh.
You know what? And when I went by New York and I seen you know, the Late Show. I mean, how was it to be on those types of big spotlights with millions of people watching you?
Yeah. Well,
Tell us about your experience of being on live TV. Like
yeah,
the big
that
shows.
was a quite experience too, because I never knew that you had to get up so early in the mornings to be prepared and to be there, you know, to sit just about all day before you could really get into doing something. But it was quite an experience to do all of the different TV shows with Mr. Brown. I mean, I can't even, sometimes someone will send me footage and say, yeah, I have this of you, you know, years ago when you played, when you did the O'Cannon, what is the guy, David O'Cannon, or something like that, and the Janice Lee show.
I used to watch him on Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, Arsenio Hall,
Yeah.
and David Letterman, and the Good Morning America, and just so many shows. And before that, I didn't do the Michael. This was a show in the 60s and 70s. Michael.
Was it Mike Douglas?
Yes, Mike
Douglas.
Exactly. It's a little old. But yeah.
All right, okay. All right, so you did a Mike Douglas show. So tell us about your solo career now.
Oh, how grateful I am to have this happening to me. It started actually when I left Mr. Brown in the year 2000. Well, I did a little something before that with Bobby Bird. I did
Yes.
a couple of tours with Bobby Bird and the All Stars, which were the JB All Stars overseas in Europe, and that gave me a chance to really get a feel of being out in front. Now, Mr. Brown had me as a solo artist a few times, you know, through the years,
Right.
but it still never felt like doing my own thing.
So tell me about Never Never Love a Married Man.
Oh my goodness.
When I saw that too, you know, cause you know, I tell people that, you know, let's keep it real. I made some mistakes. You know, I had a guy that was married that tricked me, you know. And when I listened to that song, you know, it made me, you know, told why the reasons you shouldn't do things. And it had a little tempo, funk to it.
Yeah.
So tell us about that song.
That song was recorded in the 60s. Now, forgive me, but I can't remember the artist's name. It was an artist from Europe, from England, if I'm not mistaken. And I recorded that album. The album was called Soul Overdue.
Yeah.
And it was recorded by the group Speedometer, which was the band that also did the music. And the way that album came about, they spoke with me. They wanted to know if they wanted to know why Mr. Brown had not recorded an album on me as he did. What do you call it? The funky family, the funky people. And because the guy said, "Well, you're funky. Why didn't you record one of you?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, but you'll find that out in my book."
Oh, yes.
I'm writing a book about it, so you'll be able to find out. I'm not going to tell you. So he said, "Well, we are interested in doing something with you, and we would like to record an album that we felt that you should have had a long time ago."
Right.
And I was all for it, and I said, "Okay, that sounds great." And they picked out the songs for that album, because it's all cover songs except a couple. And they picked out the songs that they thought I would like, and which was included Never, Never, Never. And I thought that, I was like, when I heard the song, I can't do that.
Right.
Yeah, because it's so never, 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 you know. But I thought about it, and I said, well, you know, I can relate to that, and I'm quite sure a lot of other, you know, women and everything could relate to that song, and maybe it might
Help and persuade
help them.
people. Yeah,
That's right.
And you know, I'm glad you did that, because sometimes in music that sometimes you put your soul into things, you put your voice, and sometimes it can be helpful to others.
Yes.
You know, just like you listen to some of the songs to soothe you, you know, to help you overcome certain things.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I thought that was one interesting tune.
Mhm.
So tell me, I was on YouTube now. That's what I'm known to be on YouTube with
Okay.
my show. I saw the one where you had the JB's, the original. James Brown did a YouTube video back in 2015. So tell me how it was to get with the original band.
Oh,
and
that
perform.
again, I have to say everything that I've done in this music business is a blessing to me because, I thank God for allowing me to work with as many people that I've had, and working with the JBs was like a family reunion.
Well, let's get ready to we gotta get ready to go into his book before we wrap up.
Okay.
Now he's a funny cat, Miss High. Now I'm seeing stories on and off the road with James Brown, never before photos. So tell us about you now an author.
Yes, I am.
Mhm.
Thank God. Yes, and I wanted to share my story, a little bit about my life, about growing up, how I met the Boettes and Bo Diddley, how I got into singing with the Jewels, and then my meeting with Mr. Brown and performing with him through the years. I became his background singer as well as his hairstylist.
His hairstylist. Wow, I
Yes,
didn't know that.
Yeah, I was his hairstylist for, I guess, maybe about 15 years or more.
Goodness.
And during that time, I got to know him. Now, a lot of people can say, I don't think anyone would ever get to know James Brown. Well, that's true too, because he had, he
He
had
got
his
the
ways.
walk.
Yeah, he did, but he looked at me as his sister.
Oh, wow.
I can remember him pricking my finger one time for an incident. He pricked my finger and pricked his, and he said, put your hand up with mine, so we shared blood. And
Oh,
he said,
wow.
he said, now you're my sister,
Oh, that is
my blood sister. So,
in saying that, did you put an experience about like that moment, or as well as the experiences through the down times? Was you able to share a little bit about that? Did he come to you when it seemed like the whole world was against him, with the drugs and with the arrest?
I did because there was a time when I did say to Mr. Brown at some of his low time moments.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown, I need you to get yourself together.
Yeah.
I could talk to him this way. I need you to get yourself together because you have a mission.
Mm-hmm.
You have a mission. You have so many people that's depending on you. You need to get your life together.
I love that because when we was talking during the Q&A session beforehand, you said it gave you goosebumps to hear Pastor Antoine Foot here, and he's one of the founders of 105.3 FM. Choice about the mission. Yeah, man on mission.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes, there were so many people that worked for Mr. Brown, and he did a lot for a lot of us. And like I said, there were times there were downfalls. And my book not only shares the good times, but it shares the bad times too. I wouldn't be telling the truth if I didn't speak.
And that's
those times.
one thing that I want to add that she does, because I've read the book.
Okay.
And she's very authentic, and you can hear her voice, because a lot of times authors write and you don't hear them. They don't. There's somebody else's voice.
Yes.
Because they're writing to please this one over here, or to please that one. She remains true to who she is, and the stories are very, very good.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Did you have any backlash from any family members with your book?
No.
Great.
No, praise the Lord. I'm still in contact with his children. Some of the the girls especially.
Yeah.
And
Didn't you do a book signing at one of the daughters'
yes,
restaurant?
his daughter Deanna.
Okay.
Deanna Brown Thomas. I
Yeah.
did a book signing in Augusta, Georgia, at her and her husband's restaurant called Deshawn's.
Yes.
Okay.
Seafood.
That's good
And
seafood,
restaurant.
too.
Oh, it is? You
Absolutely.
been there?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
indeed.
That's awesome.
And she also when she read the book, she told me she really enjoyed reading the book, as well as Yama, his
Yes.
other daughter.
Yes.
And I'm very, very thankful. Again, they are family to me. So there's been so many books
Yes,
and
definitely.
about Mr. Brown, and they always talked about his downfalls.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Yeah, and that's
his
what I
problems
wanted to
and
get
everything.
across, because this
Yeah.
book is nothing like that. It will talk to certain aspects of it,
Yes.
but also let people know how good he has been to people,
yes, he was
especially
human.
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
he had feelings, and I had a wonderful laughter, with him. The times that I laughed and with him and at him, because he was a funny cat.
Yeah.
He was funny and didn't know it.
So that's how he came about the title.
Yes, absolutely.
So as we wrapping up, and before we do, I know we have this great event on September the 15th.
Yes.
Yamaja, can you tell us about the event?
Well, we are honored to have Miss Hyde come and tell her stories in her James Brown voice, entertain us, as well as to share the stories at Union Bistro and Jazz on Friday night, September the 15th. First show is at 6 to 7:15. The next one is from 8 to 9:30. And the tickets are $10. And if someone's out, so you can get in touch with 434-808-2472. Elroy Board and I put together this, along with Union Bistro, with Yasmin Harris, Michael Hall, and with Preston Brown.
Okay.
He's been involved in the process, too, of helping us bring this high here and to make this a success. So we want to encourage people to come out and support this goddess of soul,
And how much is the tickets?
Tickets are $10, and if you call now, you can get a ticket for $10. But if you wait to come to the door, it's going to be $15.
Okay, can you give us the number?
434-808-2472 is the number to call.
All right.
Yes.
And also, Ms. Hyde, tell us where we can find your book at.
You can find my book at www.amazon.com or even www.createspace.com. And also Friday, 15th at Union Bistro.
And she has lovely T-shirts
Yes.
that'll be for sale to go along with that has the He's a Funny Cat Miss High on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, she has some things that people will be able to take home with them to say they've had an encounter and a funky conversation that's going to take you higher with Martha Hyde.
All right, man. I'm getting all excited. I mean, it's a great time for the city of Richmond. We need this. Especially with so much going on. We need to bring back old school. We need to bring back class. We need to bring back elegance. We need to bring back soul. We need to bring back Miss Martha Hyde.
Thank you.
Yes, so I look forward and possibly working. I invite you to our fashion show that we're putting on Art Meets Fashion on October 21st. It's a great event that I'm posting. I'm so glad 105.3 FM will be sponsoring the radio show and doing coverage.
I will
be
there.
Yes, Minister Tigerfoot. And now I offered Minister Tigerfoot, look, Antonio Pastor now, he done showed his vocal skills earlier that I captured a video, so he got to perform for the show because it will be off the chain, like they said, like the young people say, off the chain.
Yes.
Yes, and we bringing back class. Yes, it's going to be from 6 to 9 p.m. at Artworks, and I'm so glad Artworks is sponsoring. Out there 14 years, this is the first time that they ever sponsor an event, and as well going to bring art meets fashion. So it's an exciting time. We're going to have Oscar Fields. If you don't know Oscar Fields, he's JB impersonator. Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Well,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. I'll be there.
Yes, he's a world-renowned performer. He's been traveling Atlanta and much more. I mean, he just finished Atlanta last week, I believe. Last couple of weeks,
cool.
And also we have Standing Man Hampton. Stan sings like Teddy P.
All right.
Yes,
All right.
yes, and he does all the classics, Marvin Gaye. I mean, it's going to be a great show. So it's from 6 to 6:45. We want to do a kids fashion show. Get the kiddies in there, but they learn. We're going to have a couple of performers, and then from 7 to 9, it's going to be an adult show, the main highlight. And we look forward and having.
So how does Miss Hyde fit into that?
Oh, I'm coming there too.
Okay.
sit back.
Yes,
I want to sit back and
yes,
enjoy this.
Yes, enjoy this, and then she can
Yes,
also have her
absolutely.
book out there to
Yes.
promote.
Yes, I
Yes.
just want to see.
Yes.
Yes, we want to make sure she gets her book promoted. We're gonna have a lot of press there, and
I'm sure
we're looking forward.
I'm sure no one will miss Friday the 15th, but I will be back October the 21st.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, and your Maja created this connection.
Thank you, Miss Jubilee. I really appreciate you and your staff. Very
Yes,
much
wonderful.
so.
Y'all
Thank
were aboard
you.
the third.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she always said, Monica, you got to put Roy. And he's out there
Yes.
doing professor mode now.
Yes,
So big
yes,
shout out
yes.
to Roy. What is he?
Mr. Roy Boyd.
Is he at Union this year or
He's at
Virginia
Virginia
State?
State,
Okay.
Virginia Union, and Virginia Commonwealth.
Oh, wow. Oh, we got a Trojan in the house, of course. Minister Tiger, yeah.
See the clock?
Yeah, you see, I saw that one.
Well, I'm just saying.
Your album.
Oh yeah, we gotta come back. You gotta come back because you're doing your album
Yes,
release.
yes, I have a new album being released on November the 17th.
Okay.
It's a tribute to my soul sisters. Yes, so it's Martha High, a tribute to my soul sisters.
And just name a few songs.
What it's all about is it's a tribute to all of the female singers that have been with Mr. Brown from day one, like Anna King, Yvonne Fair, Tammy Terrell, Marva Whitney, Lynn Collins, Vicki Anderson, the Jewels, and even the Bittersweets. That's the last female group that was with him before he passed away. So I'm just doing a tribute to them, and I'm very, very proud to be able to sing these ladies' songs because some of them are from the 60s.
Well, I'm going to be honored you to come back on the show, and I would love, maybe we can set it up, Minister Tigerfoot. We can maybe have it perform live. We never know.
Oh, yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
We got
to set up here now. We got to set up world class here in
All right,
studio.
okay,
Yes.
we can do that.
We want to make sure that people come out and support you, especially that's what we do with Real Talk with Monica, as well as WQC and the Choice Network at 105.3. And I'm just saying, it's just been an honor to have my first celebrity interview with a legendary person and such as you. And I'm so honored that the Choice believed in me, and I told them, I do real talk now. I talk real talk. It might not be all the aspect of gospel music because they are the first independent family gospel. But one thing that Pastor said that really sealed the deal, Pastor Fleck, was like, Monica, we all been through places. We have an open heart. As long as you come in here with the right mindset and right heart, we're open to what you're trying to do.
Exactly.
And I love that, and that gave me great latitude to have this great interview.
Just want to mention something. I have an album out that's called "It's High Time," and that was my very first album with my own songs that I've written, and I'm very, very proud of it. I will have that album Friday,
Okay.
15th, and
Okay.
I just want to mention one thing. I have a gospel song on that album that I wrote, and it's called "I've Got Something to Shout About."
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I'm very proud of that
Yes,
song
I remember
because I take God with me every
Yes.
place I go, and especially with my shows, and I
Praying before the band. You said it with the band. You prayed
exactly.
for it, yes.
We pray before we go on show, and I have now incorporated gospel, a gospel song. I try every time I go on the stage to do a gospel song because I want people to know how blessed I am, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be there.
And you know what? And that's one thing, as Minister Tigerfoot said, that Monica, we bring in quality interviews. Everybody has a purpose for God, and I'd be honored to play that.
Okay.
And that's one.
Thank you.
Amen. That's what we do
Thank
here
you.
at 105.3 FM, The Choice. So, Miss High, and you Maja know about this. We always get the people to say that's real talk after the count of three, okay?
All right.
1, 2, 3.
That's real talk.
You heard it, guys. You heard it only on Real Talk with Monica. So guys, stay tuned and support great things with your girl, Miss Real Talk, and support us. And we're going to be on the Choice Network 105.3 FM starting on September 25th. And you know what? That's real.